Hello everybody, welcome to another video, and it is our last video from our series from Odyssey of the Seas. A bit of a thank you to everyone who has subscribed to the channel in the last few months whilst we've been releasing these videos. We hope you found them entertaining, we hope you found them useful, we hope you find this one useful, and if you just discover us, you know what to do. Hit the subscribe button if you enjoy what you're watching, and of course like the video. You know, we've got to please the algorithm gods. It's been a couple of months since we got back from Odyssey of the Seas. What we wanted to do in this video is actually take you through a bit of a walkthrough. So we shot a lot of stuff while we were on the ship. And on a few days, I basically got the GoPro and just went for a bit of a walk around the ship. And we thought we'd take you through that footage so you get to see the ship in all of its glory, all the parts at least that I remembered to film anyway.
Just before we do start, I've not seen any of this footage, so I'll be watching it for the first time, just like you probably are.
Yeah, Glenn hasn't seen it, so we're basically stealing what Sweet Natured do, so big shout out to them. And yeah, let's have a look through what we've got here. So, have you ever used a running track on a cruise ship, Glenn?
I think I've walked around one.
I remember I was on Oasis of the Seas and I went out for a bit of a walk and it was so windy. I think I burnt an extra 500 calories just walking against the wind, and I'm sure if I walked the other way, it would have just blown me off.
I don't see anybody running on this one, so they're using it like I kind of use it as well. I'm not a massive fan of all these tropical colours on these newer Royal ships.
Are you serious?
Yeah,
I love
the state of that.
Oh, please, I absolutely love those colours. And I think it just gives that sense of joy. You'd get that from bright colours. There is an interesting thing about the psychology of colour, you know.
Okay, this is more my colour scheme now.
Okay, well...
Dark greys and dark blues.
Well, maybe we should start going on celebrity then.
Don't remember seeing anybody playing chess.
I saw a couple playing chess, actually, and I couldn't tell you who was winning on that one.
Can you play chess?
I can play chess. Not well, but I can play chess. I'm more of a checkers guy.
Okay.
Really. I keep calling it checkers because I see checkers boards.
Drafts is what UK people call it.
Drafts, yes, exactly. You go king me and you get... Anyway, I'll shut up.
See what I mean? Look at these colours. You've got orange, yellow. It's a bit garish as far as I'm concerned.
I love it. I think it's fantastic. And of course, Royal Caribbean is a family ship, so it's designed for families. And I love all these little cabanas. I think you have to pay for them though.
Yeah, I think you do actually.
And they're not cheap. But I mean, I can't sit here and say it costs X number of dollars because it will change from cruise to cruise. Yeah.
I think if I was a pool person and was a kind of, a late riser as well, so by the time you got to the pool, all the lounges had been taken, it might be a good idea to have, your own little cabana reserved so you can turn up whenever you want. Yeah. But they're not private. Everybody walks past and looks at you while you're sat there. So I'm not sure that it's such a great idea for us.
We filmed this actually. I think that's Crete. You were off the ship. Were you off the ship at this point? I can't remember. I know I didn't get off at Crete. So it was a perfect opportunity to sort of walk around with the camera. And
it looks like a lot of people were off the ship.
Yeah, it was. I think it was the last port day before we had a sea day, and then we went back to Rome. Now, one of the things about these pool areas on Quantum class ship is Quantum class ships, if I learn to speak English, is I do like the fact that they're almost sectioned off, so you do have kind of a different vibe in each area.
But look, the difference, I've just noticed, the Odyssey doesn't have the kind of the roof on this part.
Which Ovation does have.
Which some of the other ships in this class do.
Do you know what I think that is? The reason for that is I think that if you look at some of the other ships like Ovation, they're designed to go to places like Alaska. And I think they fit them for that climate. Like Odyssey's in Europe and it's in the Caribbean. It's always in warm weather.
Maybe.
That's my
okay, those
thoughts.
chairs we've just seen, those yellow chairs, they are the most uncomfortable things to sit in. Like 2 minutes and you kind of... Oh, there I am. I thought you said I was off.
I can't remember. I have no idea what you were saying to me then either. You're probably asking for ice cream.
I don't ask, I just take. So we're heading towards...
So this is the smoking area here, by the way. So that's... So just behind us where we've walked from, that's where if you're a smoker on the port side of the ship. I would go port is left because they both have 4 letters. That's how I remember it.
I don't like the look of these lounges. I don't remember ever sitting on one of these, but they don't look particularly nice.
On sea days, that area is completely full. Now, the Solarium is a place that you and I both have a lovely affinity for. It is sea days, of course, it's always busy, but you never have a real problem getting.
Look at the difference in lounges, though. Do you see the change?
Yeah, it does look classier, but oh, they haven't put their coffee cups away. I hate when people leave stuff out like that. But yeah, I know, I get what you're saying. It does look classier. It doesn't, but I'm not bothered by it, to be honest. It's not something that I say, oh, that looks nicer, so I'll sit there. The Solarium, this was probably late morning, maybe, looking at this, how high the sun is in the sky. And yeah, it was dead. Now, I tell you one thing about the Solarium on this sailing. I do not know why, but the pools were really cold. Do you remember?
Yes.
The hot tubs were fine. Honestly, the hot tubs were great. But the pool is actually was quite chilly, because I remember you getting in there up to your knees and just standing
These
there.
hot tubs were weird though, weren't they? The way that they're joined. So you have to get in one, walk through it, get out and into the next one.
Hey, if you enjoy rubbing up against strangers' legs, it's the perfect way to enjoy a holiday.
I wondered why you positioned yourself right by the steps.
Rude. But yeah, I've always liked the Solarium. I would say if it's a sea day, get there a bit early. You can have breakfast in the Solarium Bistro as well, which has the same food as the Windjammer. Obviously, it's a cut down menu, but it's definitely worth checking out because it helps you. You can then go from there and go and get a sunbed without having to worry about the crowds. That's my little pro tip for the Solarium. Absolutely wonderful. And the staff are great, as they are all over. I remember being sat at that Sunshine Bar playing on my Nintendo Switch, drinking Cosmopolitans. Good times.
Did we actually sit down on this trip, or did we kind of just walk past?
No, we spent a couple of days in the Solarium.
Oh. One thing about the Solariums, or Solaria...
Solariumers.
Whatever
If you know what the plural for Solarium is, please stick it in the comments below.
It probably is Solaria.
Solarium.
Maybe, I don't know.
That sounds like something you need a cream for.
Yeah. One thing about the Solarium then, on this class of ship, on the Quantum class, is they are so much nicer than the ones on the Oasis class, the bigger ships. What we've found.
Yeah, 100%.
I think these ones are so much, the layout is so much nicer. You've got beautiful foliage everywhere. It feels kind of that you can find a quieter nook or to sit in.
It feels more intimate.
Yeah,
but not intimate. Not intimate in a way that it's invasive. It feels. If I like on Wonder of the Seas, and I think we said this on our videos, and you can go back. I tell you what, I'll link the video down below. But on Wonder of the Seas, the problem I had with the Solarium was it was too big and it was too echoey. It felt more like a leisure centre than it did like a big greenhouse with pools, and it was just too big. But on Quantum class, particularly on Odyssey and on Ovation, and hopefully Anthem, we found that it's the perfect size. And it's still obviously temperature regulated and all of that stuff, so it's never too hot or too cold, and it's wonderful in the mornings. If you're an early riser and you want to go and watch the sunrise and you're facing towards the sun, if you're lucky, it's an absolutely wonderful place to get the sunrise in the mornings. It's lovely. Right, let's look at the next part of the ship, shall we? Mm-hmm. So when you first get onto the ship, the first place you're going to go is the Royal Esplanade. Now, in my opinion, you know when you have that wow factor when you first go on a cruise ship, no one beats the wow factor of Princess when you go into the atrium. I think that that's still one of the best ones, but the Royal Esplanade on Royal Caribbean is still pretty special. Although I'd be interested to see what Icon is like with the Pearl, but we can't afford it. Anyway, let's talk about the Royal Esplanade, and we've got Izumi, which is one of our favourite restaurants.
And a real lack of privacy. Look at some of the tables that you're going to pay for and this is an extra paid restaurant, right?
Yes.
And you're paying your $30, $40, whatever it is, to sit there, and literally you are eating in the corridor with people coming out. What's the other way? Is that the theatre?
Yeah.
The other way?
Look, that doesn't bother me. That when we ate in Izumi in Wonder of the Seas, and it was downstairs, if you remember. Here's a little clip. And the food was amazing, and it's all the same food. But I found that on Izumi, I don't mind it being in the corridor. In fact, where was it? We were on Ovation, and we went to that. It was a sake and sushi tasting session, and there we were sat out, and not everyone could see.
No, we weren't. We were actually on the balcony within the restaurant. Those seats that we've just walked past, those tables are actually in the main thoroughfare, and I think it's from the. Is it the Schooner Bar that's behind there and the theatre, or what, the rock music venue?
Downstairs is the music hall is behind it, and downstairs you've got the British pub.
I totally disagree with what Ant's just said. If I'm paying good money as an upgrade to dine at the sushi restaurant, I don't want to be sat in the effectively what's in the corridor with people walking past looking what you're eating. It's just an absolute no-go. That's one of the things that I'm not looking forward to on the Sun Princess, where some of their paid restaurants are, I believe, are also in main thoroughfares with people kind of walking past. So we'll have to kind of agree to differ on this one.
To be honest, I just think that thinking about Sun Princess, though this video is not about Sun Princess, but you know, they make design choices for a reason, and I would like to see how people feel when they're on there.
Okay.
You might have a preconceived idea, but until you actually sat there, it may not be.
Sorry. If I'm so convinced that I'm right in this, can you please just add a comment to say whether you agree with me or if you agree with Anne? And if you agree with Anne, I'd really want a proper explanation.
No, you don't have to. You do not have to explain yourself. We just have to wait until the vlogs after Sun Princess. That's it. We'll come back to this.
Let's
carry on. Okay, so the Promenade, Café Promenade, by the way, there is no Starbucks coffee in Café Promenade, but there is a Starbucks across the way, which is unfortunately completely paid. You cannot use your drinks package to get Starbucks coffee. If you like your Starbucks, though, go to the Windjammer, and you can get Starbucks there if you have a drinks package.
Do you get regular like drip coffee in the?
You can. Yeah. And to be honest, it's fine. It's completely fine. But if you're a bit of a coffee snob, you like your Starbucks, then just go to the Windjammer. But because everyone has sort of cottoned on to that little tip, you might be expected to wait a little bit longer than you would if you were in Café Promenade. Shore excursions. We're taking a lot of excursions recently, more than I thought we would. You know, we always said like excursions are a bit of a rip-off, but we find that if you book ahead, in fact, I'm going to pause the video right there because I just want to talk about excursions for a second. Because I think when it comes to excursions, if you're unsure about an excursion, this is my pro tip: book it when it's available, because you can always cancel and get a refund before you set sail if you change your mind. The reason I say that is because all the excursions on our upcoming cruise have sold out. So if I had decided now I wanted to do, I don't know, the dunes of Gran Canaria or something, I couldn't get on that excursion now. I would have to find my own way there, which probably wouldn't be a problem because it's a small island. But if you're doing something like Ephesus on a Greek Isles cruise, which you may be if you're interested in going on Royale's Odyssey, then you don't want to miss out on something like that. But it's always worth, I think, booking it. And then if you decide you're not going to go on the excursion, just cancel it. But at least you've got your place.
I love the way that took you 3 minutes just to say, book it, and then if you don't want it, cancel it.
Do you know what? This is why I don't do TikTok, because I can't do short form content. Okay, let's carry on. Okay, so, we've got the casino down there. We're going to go through the casino.
Oh, do we? Oh, I love the casino. Did I love the casino on this one?
Yeah.
I did love it.
Yeah, we lost a lot of money. But, so down here, I tell you what, the best time to be down here if you want to get into the real hustle and bustle of the ship is when they're selling t-shirts for $2. The t-shirt sales, when they always have, is it 2 for $10 or something like that, and it's complete carnage. But it's like TK Maxx or TJ Maxx if you're in the States. It's mental. So this was obviously a port day, so it was quite quiet, and all the shops are shut. And but yeah, behind you is Port Merchants. That's where you'll get your alcohol and tobacco.
Is that upstairs? Is that
that's Wonderland?
Wonderland, yeah.
Yeah,
hold on a minute. Did I pay for a Starbucks?
No, that was mine from the Windjammer.
I was going to say I would never normally kind of pay for a coffee.
I don't think you paid for that coffee, but that was mine.
Okay.
I can't imagine you paying for a coffee.
You know what? These always...
What, the shops?
Okay, let me just a quick word.
Glenn's going to have a moan. What are you going to moan about this time? I'm sure
I've said this before, but honestly, I can only assume that these retailers pay the ships a huge kind of
Well, of course.
payment to be present on this, because they don't actually have any customers in there. And this is like amazing real estate. Why on earth Royal, or not just Royal Caribbean?
Calm down, Kermit. Honestly, it's fine.
Wouldn't you stick another high-end paid restaurant in this kind of area instead of having half a dozen premium jewelry stores that no one, or that you walk casually past and go, oh, that's nice, but it's $20,000.
Who was it we were watching? I can't remember who they were. But they were talking about power of negotiation. So someone got a diamond necklace or something in one of these shops,
I saw that.
and they got them down by over $1,000. It was not an insignificant sum of money, but anyway, they
were probably desperate for a sale. It was probably the first one they'd sold all cruise. Of course they did.
If people are spending this kind of money on a cruise, they can probably afford to go in one of these shops, and that's probably why they have them. I mean, they have a Rolex.
We can't afford to shop in one of these.
We can barely afford to go on a cruise. Come on, let's continue. Okay, so yeah, the shops are fine. This area is always a bit quiet, which is okay. Up, and obviously you've got the British pub, which is, what is that, the Crown and Compass.
That's the Schooner Bar up there, isn't it?
The Schooner Bar is up there. We'll be going to the Schooner Bar shortly. I think the Schooner Bar is my favourite bar. We'll talk about that in a bit.
And this is the music hall coming up now.
Yeah, so you have the music. This is obviously on 2 levels. So downstairs on deck 3, I think, is where you'll have your... which is where the dance floor is, and then deck 4 you can sort of look over. It's always a fun night in there. They have live bands, they have DJs.
It's a really good venue, that one.
I love it, I love it. Even like during the daytime when it's quieter, it's just nice to go in there because the seats are so comfortable.
Where did you say we were in port? There's like nobody on the ship.
I think this was Crete. But I can't remember. I shot these over different days.
So this is not Jamie's. What is
this? Is Giovanni's. Okay, Giovanni's or Jamie's, Glenn. Giovanni's or Jamie's.
Got to be Jamie's.
It is Jamie's.
No, this isn't Jamie's. This is Giovanni's.
But I prefer Jamie's. I don't get me wrong. I love the design of this. I love the theming. It
looks beautiful, doesn't it?
It does look really, really beautiful, and I love the theming of it. We're going to talk a little bit more about the eateries because we'll go into a bit more detail.
I think I've already said what I think of Giovanni.
It's a bit stodgy. It doesn't feel as fresh as Jamie's, but that's my personal opinion.
Lovely dining room down there that we've just kind of missed.
That's the main dining room. We'll go there in a bit.
And some of these chairs. Do you see these chairs at this bar here? Is this the wine bar?
This is what used to be Vintages.
Yes. What is it now?
It's Giovanni's wine bar. Oh. But I preferred it as Vintages because I liked the carpet and I also liked... Look
how deep the chairs are, though. Seriously, if you're a person with reasonably short legs, if you sit back in one of those, your legs will be straight out in front of you. They're really uncomfortable.
I don't think they're that uncomfortable, actually.
You're a lot taller, though.
That's true, I am a lot taller. It's quite nice. You can sit cross-legged on them as well.
Oh, I know where we're coming up to now.
This is Café 270 and 270. So, Café 270. If you watched the vlog series, you'll know how disappointed we were in the sandwich. Look, the sandwich was fine. You thought it was a travesty. You're a little bit.
What the Kummelvik? What an overrated sandwich that is.
It was a great sandwich. It was just cut a bit thick. Do you know what? On Anthem, that's the first thing I'm going to do is go and get one of those sandwiches, and I'm going to get them to cut the meat thinner just to make a point. Hello there. Okay, so now we're going into 270. Now in 270, it's on 2 levels. Again, I'm going to ask you a question. I just want to have a look. If we pause the video just here, right, Glenn? We sat here. I'm going to put a little graphic there on the screen when we went to see the book. Now, if you're a suite guest, I think the top part here, which is shown over where I put the arrow there, that is where I think is for suite guests, and they section it all off to like 10 minutes before the show and then open it up to everybody else. In your opinion, where's the best place to sit in 270 when watching a show?
On the lower levels.
On the lower levels.
I feel a kind of bit disconnected from what's going on if you're sat in that kind of upper circle. Because I know we've been to things during the day, haven't we? We've been to movie shows, we've been to quizzes and stuff.
Yeah.
And when we've been forced to sit up on the upper circle, I always feel kind of you're a little bit away from the action. I'm not as keen.
Yeah, no, I get where you're coming from. I mean, 270 is a great location. They have things like ship talks there. They have the disco is in there in the evenings. They've got obviously the big shows like Spectre's Cabaret, the book, and it's amazing space, very sort of technologically advanced, and they play movies in there, lots of quizzes and things. And obviously there's the library behind there as well, which is always
I
fun.
love the library.
It's more of a conference room though. It feels less cozy and more
Yeah, you're right.
like somewhere you'd go for work. So this is on the lower levels here. Now that's where we sat actually when watching the book. But I would say, big pro tip for those of you going to see the shows on Odyssey of the Seas is to get there early, to get one of those premium locations, because if you've got someone with a big hat in front of you, because it's the way the seating is sometimes, it's difficult to get a decent view, even on the lower level. So you just want to go beforehand, do a bit of a recce, and then set up camp there about an hour before the show, I would say. And then that way you're...
An hour?
Oh, good, at least an hour, yeah. Just sit there, go, get a book, get a glass of wine. The bar's only just there. Go get go one of those beef sandwiches. And yeah, just to make sure you got a good seat, because the shows, let's talk a little bit about the shows in 270. So you really liked the book.
Yes, I did. Despite lots of people in reviews saying it was not so good, I really enjoyed it. It didn't have much of a story, but I don't think that's a bad thing. It had a lot of energy, had some great tracks. Choreography was amazing, and like I said, if you're sitting in the right kind of area where you've got a good view of the stage, or the multiple stages, I thought it was really exciting.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I couldn't work out what the story was either, but I was still entertained by it, and I think that's what the most important thing when it comes to any of these shows are, because they're so short as well. They're like 45 minutes. It's not like a Broadway show, which is 2 to 3 hours long. You've got to hold people's attention. It's got to be short and snappy. And and I think they did a great job personally. So yeah, we mentioned the library. This is the library. And
what gave it away?
All the books. So the library, as I say, like that table doesn't look terribly comfortable. It's a nice quiet space. If you've got to work on a cruise ship, and some people do, then it's a nice place to go. It doesn't feel like the sort of place where, you know, people are going to be in your way or anything like that. And because it's in the corner, there's no kind of thoroughfare or anything when going through there. It's a nice space. Okay, when did you turn Diamond Plus, Glenn?
I'm glad you asked me that. No, it was quite recently.
So Glenn
last year. Yeah.
Last year, Glenn turned Diamond Plus. I am Diamond, and so we both have access to the Diamond Lounge. And if you've never been in the Diamond Lounge, you're not missing much, honestly. This is the Diamond Lounge on Odyssey of the Seas. It's now the Crown Lounge. I think it's for Diamond Plus and above, because there's just too many people that are Diamond, so, you know, it's not that special anymore.
God, it's really heaving in there.
It's so busy. It does get busy, though. It does get busy, particularly on...
Who sits on these little stools that are the shape of those little cheese segments? I mean... It's just, I don't think people, bearing in mind the demographic of the people that go in there typically, I don't think many of them are going to be comfortable sat on one of those stools for too long.
Oh, do you know what though? There is obviously a concierge person there. So in the Diamond Lounge, you can also book shows, and if you have any issues, then you can go there and have them resolved.
We were in there to refill a coffee, I think.
Yes, and have cookies as well, because Royal Caribbean do the best cookies.
Oh no, they don't.
They do the best cookies.
Absolutely not.
They do.
He just doesn't remember how good Princess cookies are, clearly.
Are they better? I genuinely can't remember. That's the Diamond Lounge, ladies and gentlemen. So you can probably take from all these. When I put these clips together, they had no particular logical order whatsoever, but there will be chapters in there, so you can always jump around if you're...
So we've walked from the Crown Lounge to... What is this?
The SeaPlex.
SeaPlex, that's it.
So the SeaPlex is the sports area where they have bumper cars, obviously, so what you see. And they've got Xboxes and loads of arcade machines, table tennis. They have a lot of, like, obviously sports and loads of events. Okay, so I filmed this obviously over a couple of separate days. But the thing I like about the SeaPlex is it is out of the way. So if you don't want all the hustle and bustle and noise that comes with these these kind of areas, you genuinely can avoid them because
It's not my cup of tea. This area, I'm only probably there because you asked me to go.
No, you're here. No, this is, I mean, it's a great spot. If you are into sports, perfect. And as you can see here, they cut the thing in half so you can do different sports at the same time. Yeah. So they'll have basketball on one side and football on the other, soccer for my American friends. And yeah, so it's a good space. Obviously, you've got direct access out to the promenade. And yeah, loads of machines. Now the machines I don't think they're that cheap. I think you have to buy like a pack of credits and put them on load them on your SeaPass card to be able to use a lot of the games. So I don't think we've ever played on any of them. I don't remember ever loading up credits onto my thing, but because I haven't.
Well, we're not really the target audience for this kind of thing, are we?
I mean, I'm sat in here playing on a Nintendo Switch. I am the target audience. I just think it's a bit of a rip-off. Oh, these tables are like got loads of different types. Oh, they've got chess on there. Loads of different type of games. I think these are free. Correct me if I'm wrong. They might be. And yeah, they're like mobile games. And but it is very chill. We sat out here. I think on our embarkation day we were.
Yeah, I remember it took me a while to get out of one of those chairs.
Yeah, watching you try and get out of one of those chairs was brilliant. Playmakers has been moved above the SeaPlex.
Yes.
Oh dear. Okay, so look, I'm going to pause the video right there and we're going to talk about Playmakers. I am going to say this right now. Playmakers on Wonder of the Seas is so good. Like, so good. How many times did we eat there? 3 or 4 times we ate at Playmakers on that transatlantic.
Who's counting?
I lost count of the number of chicken wings I ate, honestly. The food is amazing. But something I don't like about Playmakers on Odyssey, I wasn't fond of the location at all. And I also thought that the quality in the food had dropped somewhat. Now, I don't know why that is, and I think you kind of have a bit of a gamble with the quality of the food on cruise ships these days. You might go on one and the food quality is amazing, go on the same cruise 6 months later and it's not so good. It's just one of those things. But generally, across the board, the food is on average very good on a cruise. But for some odd reason, our experience of Playmakers in this place was that the food wasn't great. But for a place to go and sit as well on a port day, it's quite nice. Especially, I like the high tables as well, which we'll come round to shortly. Obviously, it's not open during the day unless it's a sea day, and it does get quite busy in here as well. I noticed. I
think the location here, I don't know. I'm sure some people probably appreciate it because it's in the kind of sports complex and it's like a sports bar. But from my perspective, the reason I love it when it's positioned in a main thoroughfare, like it is on some of the other ships, means you get a lot of passers-by. It's a great vibe. People kind of walk through it and go, oh, this is a kind of place I want to stop for a drink. And I love that. Whereas here, you're making a specific journey to go to Playmakers because it's not near anywhere else. Yeah. You'd have to be wanting to go there. And even though when we ate there one evening, it was very busy. I think there was literally only one table left.
There was a very drunk, and he was incredibly drunk and incredibly offensive.
I don't think he was drunk.
Okay. I can't imagine someone saying the things that he said sober. The food here wasn't as good as it has been, but sometimes it might have just been a bad day in the kitchen. Okay, so we're in Playmakers. Let's talk about bars and food. And of course, the one place we never go to, the main dining room.
Oh, I'm just about to say, where's this? Because I don't remember these kind of murals or whatever.
You were with. How beautiful is that?
This is very nice. Yeah.
It is so beautiful. I think Royal Caribbean have outdone themselves with the design of the main dining room on Odyssey of the Seas. It is absolutely astonishing, and I didn't eat them.
It was so astonishing. We didn't bother.
It's no secret that we're not fans of the main dining room. You know, we're not fans of the main dining room. It's all a bit rushed. The food quality isn't great. And it's always a bit of a letdown. I think there are so many other great places to eat on Royal Caribbean that you don't have to find yourself in the main dining room every day. That is a personal opinion. It's completely subjective. But I do think that the main dining room it looks so much better than what it eats.
I don't think it's necessarily the food that puts us off the main dining room, because I think sometimes we've had quite nice meals when we have gone into the main dining room. I think it's probably more to do with the ambience and the environment in terms of, you saw that, was that like 2 or 3 stories, that main dining room? And you tend to find, because it's so busy, every time you go in there for dinner, the noise levels are horrendous. And I think anybody that kind of revels in that kind of noise and activity is probably going to have an amazing meal. I personally do not enjoy that as much. I much prefer a smaller, more intimate venue, particularly for dinner. And I think that is a big factor in why we don't normally eat in the main dining room on Royal Caribbean. Some other lines have the main dining room a little different in terms of multiple smaller dining venues, which are kind of more my cup of tea. But on Royal, we are not as much.
They're on the older Quantum ships, though. They have like the American Icon Grill, and they have the main dining rooms. I think
Yes, they do.
Is it Silk is one of them. I can't remember the name of the others. If you can remind us, put a note in the comments. But I think that those are smaller. But for me, what I don't like about the main dining room is I feel like you're being rushed in and out. They have got so many covers to go through in a given evening that it feels, and I know you're not being rushed. Don't get me wrong, they're not going to sit there and go, "Can we have the table back, please?" It doesn't work like that. But you get the feeling you're being rushed because there's so much, it's so hectic around you. And if you're situated somewhere near the kitchen or wherever, where you've got people coming back and forth constantly, it's not a calm environment. And for me, if I'm going to eat somewhere, I think it'd be calmer in the Windjammer if you find a corner at the back. Do you know what I mean? Rather than having to go to the main dining room. Anyway, I have said in our next vlog series about us going to the main dining room and breaking the ban on main dining room eating.
Yeah, I'm not keen about that.
Are you? Well, we'll see where that goes. Make sure you're subscribed. Okay, Schooner Bar. Next to the Schooner Bar is Chops, which I didn't film. I forgot. But the Schooner Bar.
I do like me some Schooner Bar.
One thing they've changed in the Schooner Bar, though, is there are no board games.
Okay, well.
The board games used to be in the drawers, and they're now gone, and that's a shame. And I think they got rid of them during COVID, but I'm hoping they bring them back because the board games are now all on the other side. This is obviously Giovanni's, inside the Giovanni's restaurant. We talked about Giovanni's earlier as we were walking through to 270, but I think they have a pizza oven, like a wood-fired stove, which is getting got a lot of press coverage. Maybe we should try pizza in there one of these days, because the food does look nice, and I love the setting, but I just found that in Jamie's the menu was better. That was pretty much what it was. Okay, the Teppanyaki. So the Teppanyaki on Royal Caribbean is this is where the living room is on the other Quantum class ships, which is on deck 14, 15 near the Windjammer. And if you've never been to a Teppanyaki, obviously I didn't shoot this. This is footage from Royal Caribbean because I didn't go inside. And I don't know who these people are. But the thing is, if you've never been to a Teppanyaki on Royal Caribbean, do it at least once, because it is so fun. The food quality is incredible, and it's definitely worth the investment, in my opinion, for the experience, and you get to meet some great people. You liked the Teppanyaki, didn't you, when we went on Wonder?
It was okay, yeah.
Yeah, it was great.
Teppanyakis, you do it once, you don't need to do it again.
Yeah, Wonderland is got to be experienced once, and you probably won't want to go back. And the reason for that with Wonderland is that it is all around the experience. The food isn't great, in my opinion, but it looks amazing, as you can see.
That looks fantastic. I don't know what it is, but
it's all wonderfully presented and tastes incredibly average, in my opinion.
Oh, and talking of which...
I love El Loco Fresh. Do you know what? I didn't film any. This is, again, Royal Caribbean's footage, because I didn't film El Loco Fresh, because every time I went in there to film it, I ended up eating. So, Yeah, I love Hull. I can't believe you still don't like it. The food is lovely.
In theory, it's amazing. In reality, it's really meh.
It's honestly, it's great. Downstairs again, see, I told you, no order here. Bolero's is their cocktail bar.
I love Bolero's.
Bolero's is fantastic. They've got a really good menu, lots of like rum-based drinks. And
We've had a couple of nice evenings in Bolero's.
we have, and it's one of those, it's a bit of a Royal Caribbean staple, so it's always worth a trip to make time for Bolero's for sure.
But what I love about Royal Caribbean is those two bars that we've just mentioned, Schooner and Bolero's, which I don't know if they're on every single ship.
Yeah.
But they're on most of them, I would say. They have such different vibes. And you might think, well, a bar is a bar. They're not. You could blindfold me, sit me down in one of those bars and take the blindfold off, and without kind of, within 10 seconds, I would know what bar I was in, because the vibe, the feel, the look, as well as, the drinks menus and stuff are quite different between the two. I love them both.
Yeah, I'm with you on that for sure. So the music hall is, obviously, we walked past it earlier, but this is what it looks like inside. And again, this is Royals footage because every time I was in there, I was drunk. The music bar is just such a wonderful place. It's when it's busy, it's fab. When it's not busy, it's fab. And it's got pool tables upstairs. The menu is great. It seems to have this kind of, you've got like the chaos of the dance floor, and then you've got the serenity of the upstairs. And you could, if you're a person that likes to be there but not be in there, it's fantastic. And obviously, it leads right down to our favourite part of the ship.
Into the casino.
Has anyone ever sat on those chairs?
What, just staring at the wall?
I reckon the amount of people that have sat in those chairs when they're so drunk and they're like, I've got to go back to my room, and then just sat there trying to sober up before they have to get in the lift.
This is a very classy kind of entrance to the casino, right?
Yeah, so the casino, obviously you can't film in the casino during when it's open, and so the rules around the casino is that it's open when you're at sea, same as the shops because of gambling laws. And the casino here is a great casino. Now, we've been to Vegas a lot. We got married in Vegas, but we love Vegas, and we like gambling, and we love slot machines. We do not love video slot machines because we don't understand how they work and are not willing to learn. But I think here they've got real reels. So when you've got, when it's more physical and you feel like that, it's that more of a buzz when you win something. And so the slot machines, even though there's a lot of video machines, there are still a few real reels, which are fun.
The bar is good in the casino here as well. I think, what was the shit we were on last?
Before that,
the Wonder.
The one.
I didn't like the casino bar and Wonder of the Seas as much.
Yeah, the location here it's nice here.
This is much better. Yeah.
And do you always find it's one of those places where you find loads of people to talk to at that bar. You'll always meet a new friend at the casino bar. It's one of those places where people are just. It's like in the evening. Yeah, love it. Okay, food. Back to food and the Windjammer. What did you think of the Windjammer?
I look quite happy there. I'm not sure what I was about to go and eat. I've probably seen something.
It was curry.
Was it curry night?
There we go. Oh, not
That's
stew.
stew.
No, there was curry in it. This was curry night. They have theme nights in the Windjammer, and the Windjammer has varied. I think Windjammer on Quantum class is a much better experience than on Oasis class, for sure. And the food quality I thought on here was outstanding. I was really impressed.
I do have to say I love the way that Americans are taking to Indian cookery at long last. It's the more and more popular it's getting. I'm hoping for some proper Indian paid restaurants in the future on some of the American cruise lines, just like they have on some of the British cruise lines right now. Because Italian. Don't know about Italian, Indian food, or Indian subcontinent
We're
food.
British, we love Indian food.
We love all this stuff. So I was very, very pleased with the fact that there was some kind of Indian subcontinent food pretty much every night.
Yeah, and they had Chinese food as well, and all kinds of international dishes. And you get all your staples, your burgers and everything like that. Now we had a video called "What Has Happened to the Windjammer," and we couldn't believe how much it had sunk down in standards, particularly when we were on the transatlantic on Wonder. But I have to say that I think someone from Royal Caribbean saw our video and gave someone a kick up the bum, because the food quality on Odyssey is so much better. So if you're watching this video and you've recently been on a Quantum class ship, you're welcome. But yeah, absolutely great. I think it's a good place to end this kind of tour in the Windjammer as well, because I've run out of footage, and also it's always nice to finish on food, I think. Odyssey of the Seas, comparing it to, you've been on many cruises, Glenn, far more than I have. He's Diamond Plus.
And don't you forget it.
How does it rank? Now I've had time to digest Odyssey of the Seas. How would you rank it?
Against other Royal ships or against other
Let's go with other Royal ships. How does
other Royal ships? Yeah, quite high. One of my favourites. I love this class of ship, the Quantum or Quantum Ultra, whatever they call it. Yeah, I like the layout of these ships. I love the Solarium, as I've mentioned, and also the Café 270 as a venue. I love the music hall venues.
And the theatre as well. We forgot to talk about the theatre.
Did we go to the theatre?
We did. We saw the Effectors. Here's a bit of footage from the Effectors. Because
yes, the one with drones.
Oh, it's so good. I loved it. Oh my, it's so good. Take your kids, take everyone, and go see it twice if you can. But it was only on. Oh, I loved it.
Okay, praise indeed. I thought it was average, but Glenn
Glenn doesn't like theatres though.
Yeah, I'm not the best for theatre shows.
Music's fantastic.
I think if you wanted to measure it against the Ovation of the Seas, which is another ship within the same class that we've been on, this is probably slightly better in terms of the ship itself, because I think they've probably taken all the good points from the older ships within this class and added a bit more kind of high tech and what have you.
Yeah, that's fair.
I think the cabins are slightly nicer. I think they've got, what do they call them? Smart cabins. So the controls for lights and AC and all this stuff are all electronic now.
It's all on the app as well.
Which is nice. You know, there's a nice little touches. How does it compare to other classes? I imagine a lot of Royal fans would say that it doesn't beat the Oasis class or the new Icon class. I love Oasis class as well. I'm not going to sit here and say this is hands down my favourite class. I like them both for different kind of reasons. So I would be more than happy on Odyssey or on one of the Oasis class ships.
Yeah, I think it's up there as one of the better ships on Royal. If people ask me what would I recommend going on Odyssey, I would say yes, give it a go. I would also say look at the itinerary as well, because it is a good itinerary, this one. If you like a port heavy itinerary and you like your ports, check out this video here, which is our top tips for your Greek Isles cruise on Odyssey of the Seas. Thank you so much for watching. Glenn, any final words?
Goodbye.
Take care. Get subscribed, like the video, and go watch this one.